Welcome to Loud History. Today we delve into the remarkable life of Katherine Parr, the sixth and final wife of King Henry VIII. Far from being just a survivor of a perilous marriage, Katherine was a scholar, a reformer, and a pivotal figure in shaping England's religious future. Her story is one of intellect, resilience, and quiet strength. Katherine Parr, 1512 to 1548, was not merely known as the last of Henry VIII's 6 wives. She was a woman of profound influence on English history. With her sharp intellect, extensive education, and remarkable resilience, she navigated the treacherous waters of the Tudor court and left an indelible mark on the nation's religious and cultural landscape. From her humble beginnings in northern England to her role as queen and later as an author, Katherine Parr demonstrated that women of the medieval era were far more than passive figures in the annals of history. Katherine Parr was born in 1512 at Kendal Castle in Westmoreland, a rugged region in northern England. Her father, Sir Thomas Parr, was a nobleman and a trusted courtier of Henry VIII, while her mother, Lady Maud Green, served as a lady-in-waiting to Queen Catherine of Aragon, Henry VIII's first wife. The Parr family had a long tradition of royal service which shaped Catherine's destiny from an early age. When Sir Thomas died in 1517, Catherine was only about 5 years old. The responsibility of raising her and her 2 siblings fell to Lady Maud, a formidable and intelligent woman. Unlike many noble women of her time, Lady Maud chose not to remarry, focusing instead on educating her children. Catherine learned to read and write and became fluent in languages such as Latin and French, a rare accomplishment for women in the medieval period. She later taught herself Italian and Greek, showcasing her insatiable appetite for knowledge. Catherine's education extended beyond languages. She was exposed to the works of Renaissance thinkers like Desiderius Erasmus and the Bible translations of William Tyndale Figures, who laid the groundwork for the Protestant Reformation in Europe. These early years not only equipped her with knowledge, but also planted the seeds of progressive thought that would guide her throughout her life. Katherine Parr's marital journey began early, reflecting the customs of the time when noble women were often arranged to strengthen family alliances. In 1529, at the age of 17, she married Edward Berg, or Burrow, the son of a wealthy noble family in Lincolnshire. However, this marriage was short-lived. Edward died in 1533 due to illness, leaving Catherine a widow in her early 20s. Though childless, this brief union taught her how to manage a noble household, a skill that would prove invaluable in the years to come. In 1534, Catherine remarried John Neville Baron Latimer, a man more than 20 years her senior. This marriage brought her to Snape Castle in Yorkshire, where she became a stepmother to John's 2 children from a previous marriage. John Neville was a religious conservative, in contrast to Catherine's more progressive views, but she maintained harmony within the family. In 1536, Catherine's life was upended by the Pilgrimage of Grace, a massive uprising in northern England, protesting Henry VIII's religious reforms. Rebels besieged Snape Castle, holding John Neville hostage and threatening the family's safety. Despite her youth, Catherine displayed remarkable composure and diplomacy, protecting her family during this perilous time. After the rebellion was quelled, she and her husband moved to London, where she began to forge connections with the court and encounter new ideas. John Neville passed away in 1543, leaving Catherine a widow once again. However, her time in London had allowed her to build relationships with the nobility and royalty, setting the stage for the next significant chapter in her life. Following John Neville's death, Catherine became a lady-in-waiting to Princess Mary, Henry VIII's eldest daughter, with Catherine of Aragon. At court, she caught the attention of Henry VIII, who was then 52 years old, aged and ailing after decades of tumultuous rule. Although she was in love with Thomas Seymour, brother of Jane Seymour, Henry's 3rd wife, Catherine set aside her personal feelings when Henry proposed to her. Driven by a sense of duty to the kingdom, she accepted, and on July 12, 1543, They were married at Hampton Court Palace. As Henry VIII's sixth wife, Catherine stepped into a role fraught with danger. His previous 5 wives had met tragic fates. 2 were executed. Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard. 2 were cast aside. Catherine of Aragon and Anne of Cleves. And 1 died in childbirth. Jane Seymour. Yet Catherine not only survived, but also brought stability to the royal family. She played a pivotal role in reconciling Henry with his children Mary Elizabeth and Edward. With her gentle yet astute approach, she persuaded Henry to restore Mary and Elizabeth to the line of succession, a decision that would have lasting implications for English history. Beyond her familial duties, Catherine was a passionate patron of learning and religious reform. She hosted philosophical and theological discussions at the palace, inviting leading scholars of the era. She also supported the translation of the Bible into English, a bold move in a religiously charged atmosphere. Katherine Parr was not just a queen, she was a religious reformer. She embraced the Protestant movement, believing that people should have access to the Bible in their own language. During her time as queen, she published Prayers or Meditations, 1545, a prayer book compiled from Latin works, making her the first English woman to publish under her own name. Later she wrote The Lamentation of a Sinner, published posthumously in 1547, which expressed her deep faith and religious convictions. Her progressive views stirred controversy in the conservative court. In 1546, Bishop Stephen Gardiner, a staunch Catholic, and his allies plotted to accuse her of heresy, a charge that could lead to death. An arrest warrant was drafted, but Catherine discovered the plot. In a tense confrontation with Henry, she deftly denied the accusations, insisting that she only discussed religion to learn from the king. Her intelligence and composure saved her from the fate of her predecessors. Henry VIII died on January 28, 1547, leaving Catherine free after 4 years as queen. Just months later, she married Thomas Seymour, the man she had loved before becoming Henry's wife. The marriage took place at Sudeley Castle, where she hoped to start a new life. However, happiness was fleeting. Thomas Seymour was accused of inappropriate behavior with Princess Elizabeth, who was living with them at the time. To protect Elizabeth, Catherine made the painful decision to send her away. In 1548, at the age of 36, Catherine became pregnant for the first time, a surprise after 3 childless marriages. On August 30th, she gave birth to a daughter, Mary Seymour, at Sudeley Castle. Tragically, her joy was short-lived. She died just 6 days later, on September 5, 1548, from childbed fever, a common complication of the era. Catherine was buried in St. Mary's Chapel on the grounds of Sudeley Castle, making her the only English queen to be laid to rest on private property. Katherine Parr left behind a legacy that transcended her role as Henry VIII's wife. She was a symbol of female empowerment, a scholar and a religious reformer. Her efforts to educate and shape the mind of Princess Elizabeth contributed to the latter's eventual reign as one of England's greatest monarchs. Catherine's literary works continued to inspire future generations, proving that women could play a significant role in history. With her intelligence, courage, and foresight, Katherine Parr not only survived one of England's most dangerous courts, but also helped shape its future. She stands as a testament to the idea that even in the shadow of absolute power, a woman could shine brightly.